What's going on, YouTube? Got the two trailer truck in here. Let me let couple of you guys get in here. All right, we got one watching. Leave a comment, hit the like button on the way in. Gonna get you guys some good information on a lot of good YRC freight information, yellow information. So let's get it. Set the mood a little bit. Get it going out. What's going on, Rob? There's one of my buddies right there. He's an owner operator. Hey, Rob, make sure you hit that like button on the way in, man.
There it goes.
Go. I know this music done slowed up on me a little bit. Two trailer trucker, what's going on, man?
How you doing, Pink?
Man, life been treating me good, man. Just enjoying this Valentine's weekend, man. Spending a bunch of money. You know how it go, man.
plan on doing the same thing here. Go out and take my Valentine out for a little bit.
I heard that, man. Are you married or?
Been married, it'll be 30 years this year.
30 years. Wow. Yeah, I wish I could say the same, man. We've been together for 20 years now, man.
Well, when we met each other at work back in 1987, sounding like Grandpa here, it was hatred at first sight. We met at work. She didn't like me. I didn't care too much for her because she stole my shift.
Oh, man.
And so we had nowhere to go but up. And someone said, what makes a happy marriage? And she just tells them two simple words. He leaves. So and so far it seems to have worked. It'll be 30 years. So
30 years. Wow. Were you driving trucks back then?
I went on my first trucking job the night that she said yes.
Wow. So
her family
then went trucking.
We met. We worked at the Greyhound bus station. We were both ticket agents.
Okay.
And we worked together for a couple of years. I went my other separate ways, but yeah, you know how your heart and brain just don't mix. So I moved back to Indy, and the rest is history.
Wow. So which summered you into trucking?
I was working at the time as a overnight hotel desk clerk, not far from the terminal here in Indy.
Okay.
And my father was a locked out Greyhound bus driver and went to driving a truck. And I was going down picking up his paychecks. And his paychecks were over twice as much as mine. I had my eyes on my wife. She didn't know it at the time, but I did. And she had a daughter at the time and couldn't do it on $6 an hour. Right. And I wasn't going to advance much there. So he got his CDL. 6 months later, I followed suit, and the rest is history. I've never really missed a week's work in 30 years. I've worked for several companies. Mom and pops and all that, you know. Then I went to being the Teamster in 1999 with CF. And of course there, you know, you get laid off. CF shut down in 2002. I was a non-Teamster for 7 months, went back to Roadway, and the rest is history.
Wow. So you were there for the big layoff.
What, at CF?
Yeah.
No, the big firing.
Big firing, huh? They knocked you guys straight out of there, huh?
They had told us we were going to have Labor Day weekend off. And that kind of set off some alarms. People were seeing things. And we were still picking up freight, but they're giving us Labor Day weekend off. They never done that. We were trying to fight to make sure we could work on there.
Right.
And okay. Then on that Monday, you get a recorded message from the company saying, we hope you enjoyed your Labor Day weekend with your friends and your family. You do a great job. We appreciate it. You're hereby terminated. Do not return to work on Tuesday.
Right.
And what's interesting is on that Monday, mind you, this is back in 2002. I was looking at Yahoo's message board for the stock, and people
Right.
were already posting on there. Got the phone call. We're out of business. We're out of business. And I was getting these at like 9 in the morning. So I knew that we were closed at that time when a lot of people didn't. So, and then it's sort of like you take a punch to the gut, you get up, and dust
Yeah.
yourself off, get your wind back in you, and you go on.
Yeah. Keep moving. I mean, the company that we work for now, man. You hear a lot of that. You know, my thing is, I'm a truck driver first. I
Right,
love this job. This is if you work here, if you know, like this is a laid back, easy environment. It can get rough. It's trucking.
right.
But if they close the doors tomorrow, man, like you said, if that's the worst that could happen, so be it. If that's the worst, because people act like it's just like, oh, one day they're gonna close, like it's this big, cloud over your head. And I just don't feel that way about it.
My philosophy on this, and this is, I was taught this or told this when I was at Consolidated Freightways, Cornflake, and it's held true all these years later. Um, another driver said, "Well, they've been predicting our demise for 30 years. We're still here. All you can do is go to work. If you get a work call, go to work, give them the best job you can. Know that you gave them the best job you can, and that's all you can do." I've been here for 18 years, going on 19 years this year. I've been through the whole gamut with the YRC, yellow, roadway thing from day one, before day one. And not one time has anybody from Overland Park called me up and asked me my opinion.
Well,
So my philosophy on all that is I go to work. If I get a work call, I go to work. I give them the best job I can. That I feel like I give them the best job I can. Um, keep my record clean because if something does happen, I'm going to get the air back in me, dust myself off, go on. But I would hate to lose this job. I don't want to lose this job. It's a great job, like you said. Uh, there are people that work here who have never worked non union, who have never slept in a truck, who never had to wait around at a dock and have to uh, not get paid for it.
yeah.
I have. So there are those people who, say what, blah blah. I realize how good we have it here because I've been on that side of the street.
Exactly.
But as far as what happens in Overland Park, out of my control. I do. I try to control what I can. That's go to work, give them the best job I can, help out a few people, like I tried with the website,
Exactly.
and and just keeping on. That's all you can really do.
Yeah, that pretty much, man. I have the same philosophy on this job, man. You come here, you make the best of it, man, and you know, and keep it moving. You're gonna make your money, and like you were saying, but back to what you were saying about a lot of guys haven't worked at non-unions. I've worked at 90% of my career was at non-unions. When you sit in a dock or at a customer for 24 hours and you don't get any layover pay, then I think that'll put a lot of things in perspective for a lot of guys over here. Because
Right.
you can sit for 23 and a half hours, they will call you, put you on the dispatch. Guess what? You don't get layover pay anymore. And that load that they dispatch you on, it doesn't pick up until 2 or 3 days later. So you're still sitting without getting paid, but you were under dispatch, technically.
Right.
So until they
Now
deal with
things
that, I think that'll kind of, put things into perspective how a lot of people, because some people wonder why do people even enjoy this job? Like, man, why are you working here? Like, man, this is better than the worst OTR job, man.
Now, when was the last time you worked on union? How long ago was that?
Non-union, that was about 6 years ago.
Um, for me, it's been 9, just a little bit over 9. Did for 2 weeks,
Okay.
got laid off. Things have changed a lot since then. If you keep up with what's been going on out there, and I try to, of course, I'm not into
Right.
doing it day in day out. Things have changed quite a bit. Um, some things have changed, some things haven't, but the market is coming around. The driver market has come around where if you notice, everybody's home on weekends. You're taking your 34 at home.
Right.
These companies don't want drivers out for 3 to 5 weeks at a time, which is what I did between,
Mm.
the merge. Uh, when everybody came into one fold, and because they realized after 2 or 3 weeks, the driver is very punchy, and I will attest to that. I tried
Right.
it in 5 weeks and it killed me, but that was my own doing.
Right.
So the market has come around to a little bit more toward the driver because basically, just like everything else right now, nobody's finding workers to do anything. And, that gets into politics. I'm not going to get into politics. I don't. But the thing is, it's turned into a driver's market, but you still have to go out there and deliver freight. And I one time sat in a dock for 8.5 hours. The company knew I was going to be sitting in a dock for 8.5 hours and didn't tell me. The fact that I sat in a dock for 8 hours, yeah, that annoyed me. The fact they knew and didn't give me the heads up so I could have brought food with me or planned on it or got my
Right.
mind set that I was going to be doing that. I think that's what really bothered me the most about that is the fact they did not tell me in advance so that way I I knew in my mind, okay, I'm gonna be there 8 hours. This is what I'm gonna plan on doing, blah blah blah. And I think these companies are finally starting to come around to that way of thinking. I really do.
Yeah, I think you can kind of they still have that out there, but that's for somebody that actually want to be out there. They have
Now,
options. I think it's more options out there now because that type of trucking is still there, but that's for somebody that's actually looking for that type of work. And you
I
got
don't
more.
mind that. I like that kind of work. I really did back then.
Yeah,
And probably would still. I like going out and seeing things.
right.
That's why I work. I've been here for 18 years and I'm on the extra board. And of course, that gets a
Right.
lot of double takes. Uh,
Right.
yeah, boy, that must be an old board. No, I'm seventh active on the extra board here in Indianapolis.
Oh wow.
I could have any bid I wanted, but if I go to the same place more than 2 times in a row, I'm going to stir crazy. And plus, I like going around and seeing new things. Or every once in, I went from Little Rock to Jackson, Mississippi a few months ago. I've never been down that part of the country before. I enjoyed the heck out of it. So, it's not all just A B A B. I like the thrill or going to other places every once in a while.
Yeah, I tell people this is the best job. If you don't quite like over the road, you don't quite like local, line haul, LTL line haul, road driver is probably the best combination of both.
Oh
You're
yeah,
gonna
I mean,
you're gonna get you a little bit of home time. You're gonna be able to stretch your legs a little bit.
I like because if I need to get home, I'm never more. The farthest out I've gone is Denver. If I need to get home, lickety split, guess where I'm headed? I'm headed over to the airport in Denver. I'm flying home,
You go.
and and I wouldn't be ostracized by the company. Um, so I never go out more. I do. I make sure that after the third bed or the third away point, they send me home, or else they're going to have to pay me. So I've never failed to get, I've never gotten that fourth bed pay.
Well,
So I'm relatively close.
yeah, I finally got it the first time. It wasn't bad. It was when they shut down the Atlanta lane a couple of weeks ago. Finally got that fourth game. It was actually looked pretty nice on that check too, man.
One of these days I'll experience that.
Man, it wasn't too bad. I was in Indy. They got a nice hotel up there too.
I
So,
don't know that I don't know. I've never been there.
oh
Never been
man,
to that hotel.
nice. Yeah, it's one of the nice ones, man. I don't mind getting up there, man. But yeah, let's talk about your website, man. Your website has been helpful to me. I done pulled up the union contract, directions. I mean, I think this website is important to most of the new guys coming over here, man.
Thank you.
I mean, you guys really need to get on this website, especially if you do Charlotte. Do they go to Pittsburgh? I hear Pittsburgh is like the worst terminal to try to get into, and you have video directions.
Right. That was the first video I did, but I've ended up labeling as video directions on the website. I've added a few more in the last few months. There's a couple of more I'd like to get. One down in your neck of the woods, Atlanta South, I would love to get.
Okay.
Basically, the website started technically 6 years ago. I got a pile full of papers about that thick with the fuel stops. And I tried to download them onto my phone, and it blew my phone up. Wasn't big enough. So I sat back, and thanks to Danica Patrick's ads all the time, I got a free website on GoDaddy that lasted every bit of 24 hours. And I put on there a few terminal locations. And with the website, if you'll notice, I'm sure you have, that the addresses I put on there for the terminal are not the mailing addresses, even though those are on there.
Right.
It's to the gate. Okay, so cool. That way it takes you to the in gate. Where if you have a small terminal, there's no difference. If you're going to a major terminal like Buffalo, New York, Maybrook, New York, Dallas, Texas, the in gates are not even in this, not in the same area code as the mailing address. And so I started putting a few of those on there, and it's just exploded since then. And it's always evolving. I'm always learning new things. When I first started, everything was in PDF form. Now I've totally done away with that, and everything is to where it loads fast. All the information is on there. Just literally, as soon as you click on it, it's there. And it's basically done through input from drivers, and from what I see out there, being an extra board driver. Now, Pittsburgh, what I'm hearing, is going to be moving sometime in the next few months. But I've had drivers stop me and say they were going to send me to Pittsburgh. I heard everybody talking about it. And someone said, look at your video. They went on the website, looked at the video. And he goes, he came off the ramp. He said, okay, I remember this thing. I remember that landmark. I remember this landmark. And he was not as anxious because everything was on there. And that really made me feel good. It really did.
Yeah, because that's got to be one of my biggest fears. Pulling a set of doubles and looking for somewhere new, trying to get into a new terminal, man. I'm like, man, I don't want to end up in somebody's neighborhood breaking down a set of doubles, in the middle of nowhere. That's like the worst, getting lost with a set of doubles.
I'm going to tell you a little tale on me. I've had this website for 6 years. You would think I would know better. I went to Maybrook, New York, which is up on I-84 in upstate New York. And I did not see the sign for Yellow Freight Drive coming off the road. So I keep driving. I'm going, oh no. And everybody said, well, everybody goes by the mailing address, they put that in their GPS. Well, that's not what you need to do. So I go down there and I stop. I call the terminal, tell them where I'm at. And of course, the terminals have cameras. And he must have been looking at the camera and says, "Yeah, I saw you. I see you." Well, how do I get there from here? Like you said, I didn't want to tear apart a set of pups. It's 4 in the morning. And he says, just make a left turn right where you're at. And you'll see the employee parking get turned around. Okay. I said, I'm going to keep you on the phone with me. He goes, okay. So he's telling me where to turn. I saw the employee parking, and if it was going to be an hour later, I would have been tearing down a set of pups right there on that road because I'm sure that parking lot would have filled up. So it happens to all of us. And I just tried to make it to where the person that's using the website can go on there, do their due diligence, look at it, and say, okay, this is what I need to do. And it takes the anxiety out of it.
Right. So what all do you have on the website just to get
Everything.
You got mileage. I seen. Do you still have the union contract on there?
Oh yeah. On the contract links page of twotrailertrucker.com. Yeah, I have. I've had people say you almost have too much information. And no, I don't, because there are several things I do not put on the website for security reasons. One of the first things someone asked me, literally day one, was, "Why don't you put the gate codes on there?" I said, no. Those three little letters before twotrailertrucker.com. Go, what's that? I said www, World Wide Web.
Exactly. Wow.
If people notice there's no subscription, there's no login, it's there. And so I am very conscious of that, and there are things I will not put on there. Everything else on there is open, is available to people.
Right.
And I get a lot of help, and I continue to get a lot of help, with information. Because I'm just like you are, Big. I'm a driver. I have no access to the internal workings in Overland Park. So I do have help that people get me information. They know that the website is. I don't want to use the word vital because my hat may fall off my head, but I think it's come to the point where it is vital. The first time I realized that, I was in Columbus, Ohio one time. And this back when they were just a satellite. And I was getting my bills, kind of having a bad day, growling at the world type of deal. And a driver comes up and he goes, "Thank you for what you're doing." I'm like, what do you mean? And he was a trainer in Buffalo. And he goes, "Everything you have on there is what we give them, a boatload of a file folder or a binder full of stuff, and you have it there on your website." And it's sort of like, trainers are giving this stuff out. And so I started getting with trainers, and they've been contacting me. And a lot of these terminals, when they have a new employee, out come the cards, which I'm sure you've seen, and the flyers, and it's almost like on day one.
Wow. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of emails from trainers in Hagerstown or Charlotte. And the program is going well. I think they had like 2,000 people come through that program last year. And
yeah, but the problem is we got to be able to keep them. And
yeah, that's the problem. That's one of the biggest problems, man, keeping these guys at the bottom.
And it's just like right now, we're having trouble up here. I'm having trouble getting out. I got 2 trips last week, and I'm high up. I'm not going to get into what's going on. I'm sure you know what's going on. But no matter what part of trucking, and I've delivered gasoline locally. I've done 53-foot reefers. I've never done flatbed. Don't want nothing to do with them. I'm even triples qualified. I've driven triples.
Right.
No matter what discipline of trucking you get into, between the months of January, February, and March, it slows down.
Yes,
You
sir.
work March through December, you pay off your bills, get some money stashed away, and you get ready for January, February, and March. And a lot of people do not realize that. It's not going to be running on your wrist 52 weeks a year. There are going to be slow times, just like in June and July. And it's just a matter of how you are doing as an individual with, your things at home, bills are paid, some money stashed away in your bank. So when these things happen, you're going, well, okay, this stinks. I'm not calling it. So I've got this to do. I got that to do. You take your mind off of it. Uh, my father was a Greyhound bus driver, and he lived by the phone. And when I say live by the phone, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have pagers. He lived by landline, and that sucked. As a kid, for your father,
Right.
we adjusted to it. I mean, it's all we knew. But now we have cell phones. You can get out of the house. You can get things done and never miss a work call.
Wow. That had to be rough back then. Now that right there put it into perspective right there. Because the way it was back in the 90s, with the landlines before cell phones, or
Oh
before
no,
you
we're talking
afforded,
1970s.
right,
We're talking
before you could
1970s.
afford a cell phone, just
Yeah.
sitting by the phone, man, that had to be a little rough right there.
Well, he knew what the you know when they would think they would be calling them, and he lived 2 hours away from the terminal. So I grew up in a small town of Palestine, Illinois, and he tried to work in terminals close enough, but most of the time he had to commute to Indianapolis, which was a 2 hour drive, and they would give him a 2 hour work call. So,
Oh, man. We,
and
we got guys over here with 2 hour commutes also. Uh,
but but you could be, I know up here in Indy, you can be half an hour late, and
okay.
they know that. And sometimes dispatch will say, hey, we're going to call you such and such a time, and that way they can get up here.
Wow.
So, but then again, the company does hire them knowing that they live 2 hours away too. So it's not totally
Yeah.
on the driver.
I was doing great when I first started over here, and they told us about the 59 minutes grace period. Oh man, I've been
See, I live 9 miles away. I'm 20
man.
minutes from. It takes me 20 minutes to drive 9 miles. I don't see an interstate. It's all back roads and US 40.
Wow.
So I was driving to work last winter, and hey, Bink, why don't you take over? I need to change the battery,
Okay.
and
I
why
need to
don't you
do
take
some
things
shout
over
out.
and get back? It'll just take me a minute.
Okay, let me do some shout outs, man. What's up, Dirty Bro 215? Happy Valentine's Day. Trucking it up. What's going on, brother? Oh, my brother. Oh man, my little brother Toga in the house. My little homie, Rob BX, he's in here, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button on the way in, man. Let's get this video out. Great information. Two trailertrucker.com. If you work over here at YRC Freight, make sure you go on his website. Terminal locations. He has video directions. He has the union contract in there. Everything you need to know. What else you got in there, Glenn? You got mileage.
I have a mileage guide that took about 2 years to get figured out how to do that. Uh,
Yeah.
I have over 2,000 locations. Um, the mileages come from drivers just like you and me. If you go on there, you know some mileage isn't on there, shoot me an email
Okay.
and I'll put it on there.
Okay.
It's just the website, well, a lot of it, is information, that I get. I look at it this way: it's you noticing something and you're submitting the information to me. I put it on there for everybody else. I'm just a conduit.
Got you.
You see something going on, or you see, think this terminal's moved, let me know. I put it on there. You tell a bunch of people. And that's what basically Two Trailer Trucker is. It's a way for everybody to communicate with one another. You may not need that information now. You may not need it 6 months from now. But if you need it, you know it's there.
Exactly, man.
But yeah, I have mileage guide on there. I have hazmat information on there. There's a app that I found very early on called Easy Placard, and there's a link to it on the website, and it's very accurate, except for radioactive and 1.4 uh,
Right.
explosives. Uh, but you can put your hazmat in there, and it'll tell you what placards you need, and it's very reliable. The hazmat trainer here in Indianapolis checks it regularly. He tells dock people and road drivers that he's training about it, and he'll go through and he'll check it, and I'll pick his brain on it, and we'll check it together sometimes.
Yeah. That's a major fine right there, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
you get caught
and
slipping on that.
and so I have, like I said, there's a. Let me punch it up here because sometimes I forget what I have on there. Uh, but yeah, there's a. I look at it this way: if I'm asking questions about it, how many other people are also?
Right.
So
Because
I
when I have
have
hazmat, it takes me about 30 to 45 minutes just to leave the yard, man. I'm
I
checking, double checking, man. It's just, I'm just
when I first
pushing through with it.
when I first put it on there, when I first put Easy Placard on there, and I put it on the website, and I called the people. It's a Canadian company that does it, and I talked to them one day, and they go, "Well, we're falling behind. We've just been plastered." Well, they've been plastered about the time I put it on there, and so it was sort of like cool. Then about 6 months later, they asked me if I'd be a reseller for them. Of course, I said no. Uh,
Uh,
but yeah, there's a. I'm looking on here. There's a. If you need to get your fingerprinting done for TSA, for your license, I have a link on the front page there that shows you where you put your information in, your zip code in. It'll tell you the nearest place to get your uh, hazmat through the TSA done. Requirements for adverse driving conditions. I have terminal addresses, both in numerical and alphabetical order. That idea came from the driver.
well, yeah, that makes sense.
Rail yards are a big one. I just started off with the Chicago yards, and now it's blown up to where there's quite a few rail yards on there. So someone from another terminal just say, "Well, go to the Atlanta rail yard," and of course, when you go someplace first time, your anxiety's up there. They can punch it
Right.
up on the website and take a look at it and say, "Oh, okay, I see where it's at now. Okay, not so bad."
Yeah, the prison stuff did it for me. You got any you got the prisons on there also or
I have the Ashland prison is funny for me. I lived in Ashland for 6 years, from 1981 to 1987. I graduated high school there, and got into radio there. I worked in radio there as a flunky for about 5 years. Uh, Everybody was going to Ashland prison except for me, and I lived down there. uh, but yeah, the Ashland prison, if you go in there the way that they tell you to, and you cross a railroad track, then you're SOL, because it will put you in a bind. And so I forgot how I found out about it, but I took a different way in there, and it's a lot easier. Uh, the other prison down in Beaver, West Virginia,
yeah, I've
that's
been to
on
that
there because we go there a lot also.
one. Okay.
Um, but out of Indianapolis and a lot of places, Ashland is a pretty pretty popular spot there.
Okay. Haven't had the chance to bless that one yet. Yeah, I've
The
been to
one
the
in
one in
South
Beaver.
Beckley, yeah, Beaver, yeah.
Yeah, I've been to the Beaver, West Virginia, and they got one in Ocala, Florida also.
Well, send me the information on that. Is that something that, if that's something that y'all go to on a regular basis or whatever, send me that information. I'll put it on the
Okay.
website. Just that simple.
Okay, got you, man. I'll get that to you. Get
Uh,
that to you. But yeah, it's in the prisons. There's nothing to be worried about at the prison at the prisons because I look at it as another drop yard. Seems like we
Well,
have the only trailers out there. So
I've been to the one in Beaver, and I actually went inside the facility where they make the goods that we haul out of there.
right,
And people go, "Aren't you scared?" Heck, no. I said, nothing's gonna happen to you in there.
nah,
They're just marking time, till they get out. So no, I don't feel bad at all. I worked at a Greyhound bus station in Ashland, Kentucky, when
yeah.
my
Those are
younger
the ones you want to
years.
be worried about. The ones that haven't been to prison yet, man.
And so they would when they would come time for the release, and I was working at the bus station, they bring them down, give them the Greyhound therapy, a one-way bus ticket going somewhere. And
Wow.
so I've talked to them. They come in there, their blue, their denim jeans and denim shirt, and get on the bus. And sometimes they had to wait 2 or 3 hours, and I would talk to them. So everything's cool. I mean, you're not, think you're going to go to prison, you're going to be locked up. No, no, no. These people are great. These people
Yeah,
are great.
yeah. Because I've
The
been to
drop
the
lot in
one in
Ashland. You know
uh,
what? You know what? Go to Ashland when they're going to have a winter storm or any kind of snow or ice, because we've had quite a few drivers get hung up there. Uh, I think about a month ago, I put a video on there on how to chain up, and it was something I've avoided all these years because I'm of the belief that if you have to chain up, then you need to park it. Always
exactly.
has been my philosophy. But people were going to Ashland getting hung up and didn't know how to chain up. So I thought, well, I'll just put it on there. They watch it, then they'll know. And I just didn't call
Right.
too much attention to it
Oh,
because that drop yard up there, you get up in there, you could get stuck for a while. I haven't,
man.
but it can, because it's Eastern Kentucky, folks. They have a few hills.
Oh man. Yeah, that's I was worried about Beaver when I first went there, man. Beaver, West Virginia. When I go, I'm normally going through West Virginia. I don't,
Right.
get off on any other. I've never been off on any side roads in West Virginia. I'm used to
I
going
no
straight
no no. I do. I stay on the big roads. No,
Yeah,
I do
man.
not want to go sightseeing. I've been on US 19 between Beckley and
Yeah,
I've been on that's a beautiful trip. But
yeah,
no, no, no. I
yeah,
don't go sightseeing in West Virginia. No,
yeah.
thank you.
Oh man, especially with a set of doubles, man. I was that was a big issue for me, man. You talk about anxiety,
Yeah. They
man.
had they had I was coming out of Charlotte one time, and that's the way I go up. I go through West Virginia unless weather, it's going to be a factor. And they had 64 shut down west of Charleston, and they're putting everybody onto this road. I had no idea what road this is. It said Logan, and I knew Logan was in the wrong way. That's down there in southwestern West Virginia, down there
Right,
by Pikeville and Kentucky and
right.
Prestonsburg. And so I pull off. I got the Rand McNally map out. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do, and I come up on the road, and it got real, real skinny. Well,
Mm,
if you've ever ran US 35 between or in West Virginia, from Point Pleasant, West Virginia, down to I 64, that road got very, very skinny.
mm.
Now it's a major 4 lane, divided 4 lane, real good all the way
Oh, I know what you're
across.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And I driving along, and then I started recognizing, okay, I remember this, I remember that. Then I got back onto the regular road. But yeah, if you take a detour with a set of doubles, you're on pins and needles.
Yes, sir. Oh man. So where do you got a lot of people, a lot of my subscribers, they know what I do down here in Atlanta. I've had a couple of drivers approach me and tell me that they, monetarily, the money that they could make is a little different at certain terminals. I'm just
Right.
giving pretty much the perspective of the South, where the weather is a little bit better. We could run when you guys are shut down for snowstorms. Um, what can they expect out of running out of Indianapolis?
You realize out of Indianapolis, we're within 500 miles. Well, we're 150 50 miles from Chicago.
Right.
Now, Chicago runs down to us, but we still run rail yards up there on occasion. We do run up to Chicago. We go to St. Paul, Minnesota, and some drivers go to Chicago because it is shorter. Even though they pay us to run around Chicago, going to Bloomington, Illinois, and up Interstate 39. But our district or our area encompasses Chicago, Detroit, Harrisburg, Atlanta, Kansas City, Memphis. So there's a lot of metropolitan areas that we drive through.
Wow.
Here in out of Indianapolis. If you come to Indianapolis and think, well, I don't have to drive in the city, well, you're mistaken, because just driving to your place, and it's in Marietta, which is north of Atlanta, we can still get hung up in traffic within 2 miles of the terminal, which I'm sure you're well aware of. You
Right.
know the back roads. I don't.
Exactly.
So we're stuck out there on 75, inching across there at the wrong time of the day. Same thing with Chicago. I know the back roads around there. I can get around places. So Indianapolis, like I said, there's a lot of metropolitan areas we drive through, and it makes it quite interesting. After a while, just like everything else, after the second or third time, you figure it out.
Right. What's that rail yard everybody's scared of in Chicago?
You want to be specific on that?
Yeah, I guess we don't have to be, but yeah, it's the one in town, like right next to the
There was
studio.
one called Global One that is on Southwestern. Now, I've heard that rail yard doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
You have Cicero, which is downtown.
Yeah, that's the one right there.
Cicero, that's not a problem for me. I've never had a problem in there.
Oh man.
It's just, it's getting back to your comfort zone. If you go to a place the first time, you're going to be pins and needles, especially if you're from Atlanta and you've never been up there before.
Right.
But after the second or third time, okay, I know what I need to do. You go up there, and you know where the truck stops are, you know where you need to take your break, blah, blah, blah. And it's no problem. There was one rail yard many, many years ago, and I would go in there at night, and the company would not send us in there at night unless we had somebody with us. And that was the only rail yard our terminal Rock Island at the time wanted me to go there. And I said, not this time in the morning. Well, come on in. We'll see what we'll do with you. So I came on in. He goes, well, you wouldn't have made the cutoff time anyway. Take it to the Heights. Cool. But that was the only rail yard that I really did not feel comfortable going in by myself at night. And I don't know if haven't ran in there in years. I don't know if the city drivers there in Chicago run it or not. And with the company going to more containers. So, like I said, I haven't been in there in a while. So,
yeah, that container business picked up big time, man. I did a lot of container work up there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I got DOT'd with a container last year and passed with flying colors. I was overweight. The tractor got me, and they gave me a warning ticket for that, but I went through a DOT and passed it with flying colors. So,
contrary to popular belief, we have raggedy equipment over here. But I'm gonna tell you, man, I've had about
Wait a minute. You've been here how long?
6 years, man. I have
okay,
had
rookie.
DOT
Okay, rookie.
Man.
Okay, rookie. You have if you're watching me right now and you've been here longer than the 6 years that Bink has been here, and if you haven't, grab yourself a beverage, sit back, relax. The best thing that ever happened was CSA 2010. At that point, it put the defects and all that strictly on the company. It put it on driver as well,
Okay.
but it put it on the company. And not only did it put it on the company, it put it on the internet for the shippers to see.
Wow.
And before that, and I'm not BSing you, Bank, I wouldn't do that. Tires and brakes are optional equipment.
Oh man.
We didn't have power steering in all the tractors. We had anything from 7 speeds to 10 speeds.
Ooh-wee.
We came to work with radio boxes, sometimes as big as whatever size you could
Yeah,
think
I
of.
remember that. I remember seeing those boxes
Uh,
sitting on the side in the
yeah,
LTL trucks.
uh, the
I
equipment we
still
have
see them
now,
actually. You have some drivers that won't give them
yeah,
up.
right. But now you bring a Bluetooth speaker and you're good to go. And it got better sound than the box that I had. The last box my son uses in the garage still, but I'm not planning on dusting that off anytime soon. We would go to rail yards or do district work, trucks without power steering, without air assist steering.
Wow.
At roadway, we had GIFs, which was a dolly that could be converted to a tag axle on the tractor.
Wow. So
And
that
there
had to
was
be
no,
that had to be an issue trying to for a new guy, I can imagine.
well, you learn by doing. It took you 2 hours to jiff up. You took you 2 hours to jiff up. The important thing is you didn't get hurt. And as you can tell here, I've still got all 10 fingers.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of, you learn from the others. You ask questions just like anything else.
Wow.
I hear new drivers complain, well, they took the radio, don't work here. I just sit back and laugh. Uh, yeah, we had equipment back then that was questionable. We were paid good. We just figured it was part of the pay. CSA 2010 came along, put the onus back on the company. The shippers could go online and see that uh, our rating with DOT was in the toilet. And that's when they started getting their act together on that. They got away from duct tape and zip ties and started fixing what they could. Now, at that time, the company was not doing great. We were breaking down all the time. Sometimes we made more money on breakdown we did on the run.
Tell me about it.
Things have gotten a lot better. Uh, so as the equipment, I mean, I was saying the other day, the last time I broke down, and I had to stop at a truck stop and get a fuel filter changed. It didn't totally fix it, but it got me to Chicago out of Memphis.
Mm.
That's pretty good. I could do without the radios. I can go along with some rattling in the tractor. I just turn up my Bluetooth speaker just a little bit more.
Wow.
But
So what was
you
some
will
things
not you
you
will not hear
recommend?
me complaining about this equipment. No, no.
So what would you recommend these new guys bring with them starting out?
If you have prescriptions, uh, do what I do. Get it when you go to the pharmacist. Get another bottle. Have them tag it with or put a label on there for that medicine you're going to use it with, and split and bring your medicine with you. Make sure it's in a prescription bottle with the label on there. You laugh,
Oh
but how
man.
many times have you seen a driver go into panic because he got sent somewhere and he didn't have his meds with him?
Got you. Got you. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Go to work with changes of clothes. I wish I could show you here. I don't know if I can do this or not. I don't think it's going to work. No, because right behind me is my gear. Um, go to work if you're in Atlanta and they say you're going to Lawrenceville and back, and that's all you have hours for. You go to work, you bring your clothes with you, you bring all your gear with you. Drivers will think, well, I'm on a turn. I'm not going to bring anything with me except my gloves. Well, they break down or something happens. You're stuck and you don't have your clothes with you. So always go to work prepared to be out. The one thing I would say that for a person to go to work at YRC is bring an open mind, especially if you're on the extra board. If they call you and say you're going to A and you get called to work and no, we gave that to the bid driver, we forgot about him, you're going to B. Go to work with an open mind. Don't be there berating the supervisor. They told me I was going, I'm not, you're not going to get anywhere and they're going to send you off somewhere worse next time. Go to work with an open mind. They're dealing with what they have at the time. I was a weekend dispatcher for a gas tanker company. I used to change things all the time because situations change over 2 hours. Things can change twice in an hour.
Right.
Go to work with an open mind. If the wife or the loved one says, when are you going to be home? I had one word for that answer. Finally, the wife stopped asking. I said, eventually. But the main thing to go to work with is just bring an open mind and an open wallet, because they will fill the first one up pretty quick on you. But go to work with an open mind.
That's it. No expectations, man. I think my last video I spoke on it actually happened to me, man. I was on the road all week long doing turns, making my money. Thought I was going to be home Friday morning. They sent me to Charlotte. Charlotte didn't have any freight coming back down, so
oh yeah. I mean,
I had to spend the night.
Oh yeah, there's times I call me out of bed in Atlanta. I said, you're going to Charlotte, 250 miles. You go to Charlotte. Oh, we didn't know you were coming. You're going to bed. 250 miles. I'm not tired. I just got my underwear situated. Now I got to go to bed. And especially with the hotel we used to stay at before this one. That was a really great hotel there. So I kind of want to die. But
yeah, I know what you're talking about. When you got the hotel staff telling you not to go outside, hey, where you going? That's when you know you're in a bad area right there.
The only I used to go walk over to the cookout. I always went over there when the other people were there too. Yeah. I figured they could probably absorb the bullets better than I could, because they did have have problems there. Gear wise, I have a tool I'm sure you've seen on the website, a Huckleberry hammer. I carried that with me. It collapses down to about 17 inches. It fits into my box, and it's a fifth wheel puller. Basically it's a railroad spike on one end and a long hook that extends out that you could pull your pins with. So that way you don't have to reach in there to grab the pin, pull it back out, and damaging your shoulder. You don't get dirty and greasy. I highly recommend that. I do not receive any compensation from the company. It's a LTL driver out of Anderson, Indiana, who started making them, and same position, with me in the website. He found something that would work, and it's going to gangbusters for him. And it keeps you from getting dirty. Most of all, it keeps you from getting hurt.
Right.
And it works on the new dollies and the old dollies as well. Carry flashlights, clothes, gloves, a lot of various cords and power things to power up my toys, like GPS. I do carry a GPS with me because there's times like if I go out we go to Harrisburg, and I'm sure you've heard horror stories about Carlisle or Harrisburg getting stuck out there for 3 days running their district. Their district involves New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, East Coast.
Yeah, they get out there to Long Island and all of that. Yeah,
right.
I grew up out there, but I wouldn't want to drive through there with a set of doubles. And I drove trucks. I drove 53 footers, but I just don't know them doubles wiggling.
Well, there's a lady driver out there, Esther, and she made a couple of videos for me for Maybrook and Manassas. And I'm hoping that she'll watch this and give me some more videos, please, especially for New York City area. Really appreciate it. Thank you. And But if you're watching this and you're with YRC and there's a terminal that you can go into and you have a dash cam, shoot the footage, get with me. I'll get it over here. And that way, if Bink ends up somewhere where he doesn't feel comfortable being with, he can watch the
Yeah,
video.
there you
Like I
go.
said, I can't get everywhere. I need everybody to chip in and help me out. And that's one
Right.
of the good things about twotrailertrucker.com is not yeah, the drivers can contribute just as much as I do, if not more.
Right. What's your email where they can email you information on certain terminals?
You email me for anything, webmaster at twotrailertrucker.com. Webmaster at twotrailertrucker.com.
Got you. Yeah, let's get that
Uh,
information to them. If you know anything, let's see, we do some shout outs. Well, a lot of people that came in. We got Kevin Hang. He said he's new out of 218.
Cleveland.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he
Welcome
uses
aboard, Kevin.
yeah, he said he uses your site every trip.
If
Yeah,
and if you notice something that's not on there, if you have a question about something, let me know because that's what the back and forth is what I really really need is if there's something that you don't see on there, you have a question about, shoot me an email. I get right on it unless I'm driving or I'm sleeping. And I'm also on Facebook at Two Trailer Trucker. There's also a sub Facebook. There's also a group for just YRC drivers or not drivers, YRC employees. I also have some management on there too, because my thinking is they use the information just as well and they can get us the information.
right.
And in order to be on that page, you must be a current YRC freight driver.
Okay.
Uh, also have a Twitter page at Two Trailer Trucker, YouTube, which is not as popular as your YouTube page is,
Oh
mind you.
man, we
But
trying, man.
I mean, you probably get what about a million just after 15 minutes on
I
being
wish.
posted, and that is at Two Trailer Trucker.
Oh
Um,
man.
I have a lot of videos on there from video directions on how to get into various terminals. Uh, how to break apart and string up a set of doubles, which I found out was very helpful for new hires. So if you're just hiring on and you had somebody overlooking your shoulder and you get tense, you get intimidated because they're doing it so quick and you feel like you're dragging them down. Take a few minutes when you're home, watch the video, go back and forth, and
Right.
you'll figure it out. You do it on your own time. You're not stressed out. And you can see, okay, this is where I'm messing up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give away the little secret, but there's a little secret in there that helps you uh,
Right.
set things up. You'll just
Yeah,
have
and
to watch
don't
the
come in the
video to
door
figure it
trying to
out.
right, and don't come in the door trying to super hook. You get these guys, they want a super hook from day one, man. It's
What's super hook?
hooking with the dolly on the back of the front trailer. It's like they want to. It's like, come on, man, just take your time, slow down. You'll get enough
Yeah,
time for that.
you know what I tell new drivers? If it takes you 2 hours, it's going to take you 2 hours. They're going to pay you. If it
Yeah,
takes me 2 hours to go say what happened,
yeah,
because I've been doing this long enough, I can string up a set of pups in probably half an hour if the moon and the stars are lined up correctly.
exactly.
Sometimes it takes me a little longer. But if you're new, you take your time. You go slowly. If you check things out 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 times, check it out 2, 3, 4, 10 times. Don't get hurt. Don't bang anything up. Take your time. Because after a while, you're just taking your time and you're looking at your watch. Oh, it only took me 30 minutes to do this. It'll come along. So don't be intimidated by it. Take your time. It'll come to you eventually and you'll be good to go.
And if you're on a mud lot or dirt lot, use the equipment to move that dollar.
Yeah.
Move it to a safe place. Just hook the chains up to it, pull it out of the dirt. And just take your time, man. Don't hurt yourself.
It's
They
just
do
like
not trust me. They don't want a workman's comp bill. They rather for you to use the tractor to pull it out of those tough situations, man. And take your time. And like you said, you get paid for your time. So yeah,
and it's just like you go to the Purple Palace
Yeah.
I've seen her. I used to go there, and they were closed more than they were open here locally. So I signed on with another facility. Go get yourself a membership. Start working out. Uh, because if you strengthen up your shoulders, your elbows, your back, and whatever, you don't need to be muscle bound, but try to get in some resemblance of shape to where if you do have to do something, then you don't get hurt. There's times you'll go into a terminal or wherever, and the door's up on it, and that strap is just up there, just enough. And if you reach up and grab it and you're not in shape, you're going to mess yourself up. Um, so it's a good idea to, if you have the resources, of course, if you're just starting out, concentrate on getting your bills taken care of. Don't go out and buy a brand new pickup truck on your first paycheck. Don't do it.
Oh, man.
Don't do
Yeah.
it. Get your finances in order. I'm a big believer in Dave Ramsey's program. He got me out of a ton of debt, and I still
Same here.
work with it this year.
Yeah.
But if you can, get yourself a membership. Work out on your off times. You only have to do like for half an hour. You don't have to spend all day there.
No, it doesn't take long.
And that way, if you have to do a manual work as far as moving a dolly around, you can do it knowing you're not going to get hurt.
Yeah. That's a major issue in trucking, man. That rotator cuff, man. A lot of guys reaching and pulling fifth wheels. That's a major issue for a lot of older guys, man.
Well, I'm an older guy. I'll be 58 next month. And I went through 2 injuries. I didn't have any surgery. I just went through therapy on them.
Okay.
Never lost a day's work, but it was painful. And the injuries themselves were painful. And that's what got me into starting to go to the gyms and working out. And that way, when I do have to do work, like move a dolly a few inches or push it into a position, then you can do it knowing what your limitations are, but you're not going to get hurt doing it.
Well. Now we
definitely use a tractor.
Now they retain. Let's talk about how we have an older workforce, and a lot of these guys. I don't see them going out anytime soon because a lot of these guys are in shape. Like, is it because
I wish they would too? I'm going to move up some more.
I mean, there's a guy that's 85 years old, man, that runs out of Charlotte, and he's still going 500 miles a day. I mean, he could probably do that run with his eyes closed.
Right.
I mean, it's
we don't know
that these are the work, just the LTL work as a road driver. I don't,
We don't know the financial situation. We don't know the backstory. So who are we to say he needs to retire? If he's to the point where he's a danger to the traveling public and himself, and he's still working, then that's a cause for concern. They've worked their way up. They are in that position. And it's sad when, you have to, if you want to work and you're that old and you want to, then okay, as long as you can do it safely and not endanger the public. If you have to do it, then I feel for you. I really do. Because your life, in my humble opinion, is based at work. And a lot of drivers, when they retire, sometimes they'll last 6 months and then you're seeing their obituary on the driver's wall. And I think that's what gets them. They don't want to be that obituary on driver's wall in 6 months.
Wow.
And plus, they just might enjoy it. I mean, the runs are a little bit easier for me. So I enjoy my seniority. But if work slows down, I'll back off. Let the people below me on the board get out. Because we have a hog board here, a seniority-based board. And if things aren't going so great, instead of doing 6 runs, I'll do 5. So.
Wow. Yo, let me do some shout outs, man. What's up, Trucker D? Yeah, he's 85 years old, man. You got me laughing over here, man. Yeah, 85 years old. What's up, Brandon? What's going on, nephew? Asiatic soldier, how you doing, man? Got Toga still hanging in there. Look like Joshua Longino, he made it over here. I appreciate you guys stopping by, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. But anything that we've been on here about just over an hour, man. Anything you want to tell the people before we get out of here, man?
This is a good company to work for. Uh, the pay wise, it could be better. Sure, any job could be better. If you're starting out trucking and you're watching this, I would suggest you go to the academy. They'll get you your they will show you how to go through the skills part. You have to bring in your CDL permit. You learn, you get your CDL here, then they put you with drivers who drive. You go to a truck driving school, and yeah, they've driven. They're retired, they drove. With at YRC, you're put with trainers who drive, and you will be driving. You'll be learning real world experience, and you will be making money instead of. I remember when I came out of truck driving school way back in 1992, the going rate on the companies was $250 a week. I
Wow.
went with a family operation south of Indianapolis, and I was getting 10 cents a mile, T miles, and I was grossing 500. You don't have to go to work for those companies making $200, $300 a week out on the truck 3 or 4 weeks with somebody you don't like. You train here, you'll learn everywhere you need to go, and they will not set you loose until the trainers think you're ready and you think you're ready. And you are getting paid for it. You're not paying anybody. You are being paid, and you're being paid union wages. Most of them, I think they've done away with the progressive wage scale. I think, I don't know. But if you're looking into trucking, I would definitely look into YRC Freight and their academies. I just read the other day they're looking for 2,000, hire 2,000. You go through the academy, and like we think we're talking about, prepare for slow times, get your finances in order, stick it out, because the bright shiny wheels that you see out there with the sleepers on them, parked on a ramp, sleeping at an angle, you're sleeping in a hotel room. They get a shower every 2, 3, 4 days, have to wait in line. You get a shower every day, and the bathroom's right down the hall, or right in the room with you. You don't know what it's like to have to get dressed, go outside, to go to the truck stop, to go to the bathroom. And that's what you do
Yeah.
if you can make it.
Yeah.
If you're starting driving, definitely look into YRC Freight. If you've already trained and you're looking at YRC as a company to go with, the doubles will not. Everything new will intimidate you. Doubles, no question. Like I said, they will train you. They won't let you go till you feel you're ready, and they feel you're ready. And enjoy. You go to bed at night, sleeping in a real bed, in a hotel or your own bed, and you can be a human. You can get a shower every day. You can go to work. You have a camaraderie here at YRC. No matter what terminal you're out of, there's a camaraderie that it just blows the doors off of non-union companies. You talk to an earth driver in a non-union company. Why are you running that? Blah 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 blah.
Right.
Here, if you need help with directions, you'll get 6 different directions, and all of them will be right. And hopefully, my website will help you.
I talked to a guy,
But
man. I had to
this
be
is a
on
great.
touch.
There's a good company to work for
Right.
if you're coming in off the street or if you've been driving.
Wow.
And like I said, there's nobody out here. Does everybody like everybody? No. I mean, that's with any place. But if you want to go somewhere where you could go in there and you go into the driver's room and they go, "Hey, how you doing?" Last time, where are you out of? Last time I saw you, you were blah blah. And you just carry
Right.
on conversation. They say the brotherhood of Teamsters. Well, we're also a brotherhood, and that we have each other's back. And
Right.
if something's going on up the road, you say it out loud. Everybody stops and go, "Oh, okay, I'm going that way." There's no big secrets here.
Right.
And like I said, it's a camaraderie here that you just don't get paid for, but it pays dividends. It really does.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think about the you spoke on the the pay, things of that nature. Do you see us, do you see the pay getting any better, next contract?
we've got new Teamster leadership now. They'll start next month.
Yeah.
Uh, I took the 10, then I took the 15% pay cut.
Okay.
We're not going to get that back
No.
because, everybody expects, well, I think the big phrase back last contract was restore or the door. Costs too much money. We'll never get that money back. The pension, I looked at mine. It was depressing to see what my pension would be. Social Security is what I'm counting on.
Right.
It was a big cut. Uh, I hope that the pay, and this is long years down the road, but I've got another 3 years to go. I hope it's to where we can get drivers in here that will stay.
Right. It's hard to
I
retain.
hope the pay is competitive to where we can get drivers in here and they stay and they can have a good life. They can weather through the slow times and feel like that they're home. I really do.
Yeah.
Uh, what happens between now and then is anybody's guess.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. That's
it,
I think that's a big issue for them, man. If they can keep a guy longer than a year, they got him. From what I've seen,
well, when I started here and up to Lord, I don't know when that last change went in. I was sweating October through January for being laid off because that's what they did. All the companies did. They laid off drivers. They don't lay off drivers now, due to the fact is they're afraid they're going to lose them. So they'll work their butt off trying to get everybody to work it. Again, be the slow time.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I would be. At one time, I was laid off 3 days before Christmas. Yeah,
Mm.
that sucked. Uh, but you go to work, you go, find the next one to be laid off. Am I being laid off this
Mm.
week? They don't do that anymore. So the old adage, back in the old days, they keep you 29 days and then lay you off because they don't want you to become a teamster. Those days are long gone. They need
Yeah,
drivers.
yeah,
They want you to
that's over
stay.
with.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a changing of the tides nowadays, right? Because you had, when union companies was kind of running things,
Sorry.
when they had the top pay and stuff like that, they kind of had their own little sway because you wanted to work for a union company. Like
I
you would deal, people were willing to deal with the BS just to work there. I don't think that's the case anymore. And I think the management need to realize that, you know.
I remember when I was started driving a truck, and there was a place in Richland, Missouri called the Oasis. It was about an hour outside of Springfield, Missouri on I-44. And we would change drivers there. It's back when you could drive 5 and 5. And there was a big long table in the middle of it. And you would see Roadway, CF, ABF, all the Teamsters sat at that table. They had their flight jackets on, their patches, their buttons, and all that on there. And they would all sit at that table. And that waitress would make a beeline for them. If the drivers came in, there was no mistaking who they were. If they didn't have their jacket on, there was a swagger about them. And you could tell, okay, that's a Teamster. That's what I want to do. They come in there, they all get together, they BS one another, laugh, whatever. And it was a brotherhood. use that word again.
Right.
And I looked at that and go, man, that's sweet. We've lost the swagger.
Mm.
Uh, the drivers we had lost the swagger over the last 20 years. No two ways around that. It's definite. I would love for us to get that swagger back.
Yeah.
Uh, does that have to do with, back then, if you got laid off at one company, you went across the street and you worked at the other company. You never lost your time at the union. So your benefits kept going, your pension kept going. You're basically doing the same job, just with a different jacket on, different truck. I would love for us to get back to that era. I really do. Will it come back? No, because I don't see a Pilot or a Loves or a Speedway with a big long table in the middle of it.
Right.
But
Yeah, those days are over with, man.
but
Yeah.
it's sad to see how things. Yeah, have things progressed over 20 or 30 years I've been driving a truck? Yeah, a lot of things have progressed. That swagger, out there, that has not progressed, and that's sad. It really
Well,
is.
I think a lot of even though it changed in LTL, I think trucking overall just changed. The whole brotherhood of trucking just changed. Because I remember when I first started, even going OTR, I used to look forward, leaving Atlanta, going to California, staying out 2-3 weeks at a time. I actually used to look forward to it because drivers used to communicate. Everybody couldn't afford a cell phone, so we didn't have any choice but to communicate on the CB.
Right,
You'll
right.
meet up. It'll be about 20 of us going the same directions, man. We'll stop, have a cup of coffee. Later that night, you got people breaking off into their, delivery points and stuff like that. We'll pick somebody else, they give the young guys a hassle. I mean, it was just fun. We had our own little world out there. Those days are over with now, man. So I think
Well,
trucking as a whole is just the whole brotherhood thing is just, it's over nowadays, man.
no, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. It goes back to what we were just talking about a few minutes ago. You go into a driver's room, you need to go somewhere. There's 2 or 3 drivers. They're going to tell you how to get there. Brotherhood's
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
If
You
you
just
were
got a
to
lot
come
of
up to me, if you were to come up to me in Indy, and you
right.
say, "Man, they're sending me to Pontiac, Michigan," I'll sit down with you and I'll explain to you about 2 or 3 different ways to get up there. One of them would be the easiest, and sit there, talk about it, show you on the map, and take your time to where when you leave there, you go, "Okay, I've got this." The brotherhood's still there. We all talk to one another.
Yeah, you just got to
There's no,
be able to
you're Atlanta.
communicate.
No, I'm not going to talk to you. No, there's none of that. There's a big brotherhood
Right.
that still exists. It's not going away.
Right.
It's just more, just more internal.
Right.
And like I said, that's one of the major things why, the OTR companies can never, you get a nice shiny, we'll put a truck, we'll give you a refrigerator, we'll put the microwave in there, you'll get your satellite TV, and you don't talk to anybody else except your dispatcher. You don't even talk to your dispatcher.
Mm.
You communicate to them through the
Yeah.
Qualcomm
Walk
Marine
on.
Cab.
Yeah.
Yeah. With us, you see the dispatcher face to face. You're communicating face to face.
Yeah.
You're telling jokes face to face. And believe me, that's a lot. That really helps a lot. And the camaraderie just isn't on the driver's side of the window. It's behind the window. It's with the line haul managers, the supervisors, the coordinators. They're taking in what you're giving them. Yeah, you may have to do something you don't like to do. That's with any other company you work for.
Exactly.
But you don't take it personally. And sometimes they'll make it up to you down, a little bit later on. But no, the brotherhood's still there. Very much so.
Yeah, I think it's just the way people communicate nowadays. I think that's the only difference. Because you got a whole new
When
generation that came up on it. We used to play out. Yeah, I mean, you're about 10 years older than me. We come from playing outside and playing the dozens with each other, and
Well, let
like
me put it this way, Bink. I appreciate the thought. when I was a kid, I was looking out the window.
You were
I
looking
didn't
out the
know I was
window.
training to be a truck driver. I
Oh man. Oh, you didn't come
when
out,
I
man. Oh man.
when I started driving a truck, uh, there's a magazine called Transport Topics. I'm sure you've seen them lying
Yeah.
around. And I was interviewed a few times on there. And the first times because I had an email address. This is back in 1992, 93, somewhere around there. And so they would call me up and we do an interview. And at one time I told them, I said, I see a day where a driver will be able to do his bills in his cab of his truck and where he wouldn't have to go home. And the guy that I was talking to goes, what? I go, yeah, I see a day where you would be able to sit back in the cab of your truck and pay your bills, take care of your home things, and not have to go home. And of course, fast forward now that everybody does that, I do it. I can do my bills, in a hotel room or at home. Uh, but that part of technology has made the driver's life easier because I've seen drivers go into fits because they're about to have their utilities cut off because they haven't been home and they haven't been able to pay their bills. Now, I know a lot of drivers don't go to work with a 17-inch laptop because, but some of us do. Uh, I work on the website. I've done some of my best work on the website on that layover in a hotel somewhere if the internet connection was good. But over 30 years, it has changed more toward a driver being able to do things where he wouldn't have to, where he would have to worry about them back then. It's a no-brainer now. It's no problem now.
Right.
And, it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes technology can be not so great because supervisors know that you can do your bills online. So, you
Yeah.
don't have to rush to get back to the terminal to get your paycheck, get that in the bank, and go, pay your bills. Everything's direct deposit now. Everything's done.
That used to be a big issue. I think that's why they started the cash advances and stuff like that on, especially with OTR drivers, man, just to kind of put some money in their pocket, because they had a paper check. They had to get home to get their check.
Yeah. I never did that. I worked out of my pocket and I would take the advance to pay myself back.
Yeah.
And the last time I ran OTR, I was in meeting talking with my boss and I explained, he says, your cash advance is like $10.38. Why? And I told him I was doing. I said, that's my money. I said, I don't want to take 200 because then I'll take another 200 for long. My paycheck goes to you.
Yeah.
Fiscal responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then once they start, getting mix ups, you got
Yeah.
2 or 3 cash advances coming out 1 week. You got a $200 check and wonder why. You're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that game a little bit when I was out there. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I used to smoke cigarettes. I was a whole train wreck as an OTR driver, man.
I've
Oh,
never been. I would tell people I was the anti-truck driver because I've never smoked. I don't like country music. I've been loyal to my wife for
oh
30
man.
years, and even now I don't even drink caffeine. I've been
Wow.
decaffeinated for 8 years,
Yeah,
and
man.
and people just shake their heads and they go, "How do you get along?" I just great. Thank you.
Before I quit smoking, I was up to 2 packs a day when I was OTR. Let's see, 2 packs a day. Uh, probably about 4 Coca-Colas because I couldn't smoke without a Coca-Cola.
I was
Eating off
drinking.
the buffets. I mean, I did it all. Ran long hours, 2 and 3 log books. I was a whole train wreck out there, man.
I've done that. I've ran 2 log books, and I would drink a liter of pop in 10 hours, and my body started saying, "Whoa, slick,"
Oh
and
man,
I just put it away. I went cold turkey,
yeah, those
and
days are over with, man.
yeah, you got to if you get into trucking, you got to take care of yourself, and that's I know that's easier said than done. My doctor will be the first one to tell you that. Uh, but you got to take care of yourself. That going back to what we were talking about earlier. exercising. A friend of mine brings those stretch cords, stretch bands that you can get, and that's what he uses to work out with. Some people go to the gym. Sometimes this one's not available, but you got to take care of yourself just as much as you got to take care of the freight and take care of the tractor and everything else. The main focus is you have to take care of yourself. On this job, you can do that. You can do that.
Yeah. So we have a driver. I gotta have a video with him. 74 years old. Another older gentleman. 74 years old. Anybody that runs out of Atlanta, you got to know Grover, man. You always wear the workout clothes. This guy, he does pull-ups. He do 50 push-ups every time he wake up. I have a video doing 50 push-ups with him, and he walks about 6 miles a day. He wakes up in the hotel, walk, and that's what I was getting at with the older guys here. They, a lot of these guys, they walk in, with good posture, and some of them you wouldn't know how old they are. I'm just like, we have a lot of drivers that's in their 70s here.
And there's a friend of mine,
healthy.
And there's a friend of mine who is, I think, about a year older than I am, a few months older than I am. And he's on disability. And he used to run and run and run over the road. And he has rheumatoid arthritis, and he's on disability. And because he didn't take care of himself, he wouldn't go to the doctor. He ran for companies that didn't have insurance. And if you're a newbie looking at this or looking at YRC, I'm dealing with a situation here where I can personally attest the insurance is excellent. And you don't pay for it. You don't pay a weekly copay for it. My wife is disabled and she's in an extended care facility. Believe me, this insurance is very top notch. Take care of your family, take care of yourself. Get on here, get on the insurance. You won't regret it. But you've got to be able to take care of yourself. This job with this company, you can definitely do that. And if you want to be overweight, you can be overweight. If you want to be in shape, you can be in shape. But it's just, if you are in shape, you don't get as tired easily. Walks across the yard aren't as strenuous. And being in shape does pay dividends in the end. It really does. And you may give you a longer career here too.
Exactly, man. Well, we ain't gonna give them everything, man. We got to do this again, man.
Anytime, just let me know.
Got to do this again, man. And
I enjoyed it.
Let me shout out, see who all came, man. Dirty Broke, what's going on, bro? Yeah, I know he like that fitness stuff. I don't know if you follow Dirty Broke. He's a tanker driver for Loves. Yeah, some pretty.
I got recruited by one of them up there in Richmond, Indiana. I told him, I drove a tanker for 4 years. He kind of walked away from it.
Yeah, you don't want to work there anyway, man. They don't make no money. They make pretty.
I tell you, I drove a gas tanker for 4 years. They definitely have my respect. I was delivering to gas stations, and I tell you, the driving part was the easy part. Delivering when people get in your way as you're trying to back into stores or walking on your hoses or your fittings with 300 gallons of gasoline or diesel running through those hoses.
Oh no!
After 4 years, I had enough, and I went to a calmer discipline and went to driving wiggle wagons. So.
But Lynn, man, I appreciate you stopping by the channel, man. And we're gonna do this again, man. We're gonna do this again, man.
I hope so. So again, website twotrailertrucker.com.
Cape y'all know what I say? Say that again.
If you're with YRC or you want to take a look at the website, twotrailertrucker.com. And just get right down there on my name, number 2, trailertrucker.com. Thanks, Pick. I really appreciate this and look forward to doing it again with you soon.
All right, man. Peace. All right, y'all, man. So we had the 2 Trailer Trucker on. I'll catch y'all next week. I'm not sure who I'm going to bring on, but it's going to be another good one, man. Y'all hold it down. Happy Valentine's Day. Time for me to be Mr. Fantastic. You heard? Peace.